everyone, welcome to today's episode of Keep It Moving. I'm your host, Sharon O. We have the very beautiful Jariatu on show with us tonight. She is a healthcare professional with over 13 years of experience in the healthcare field. She has worked in multiple hospitals, progressing to senior leadership roles in the NHS and various hospitals across the country. Aside that, she is an influencer with over 350,000 followers on Instagram. So if you need to look good, if you want to look good, she can also hook you up.
Thank you for that, Sharon. That's a very good introduction. So thank you. And thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Before we get into more details, do you want to say more about what you do? Let our audience know what to expect tonight.
Absolutely. So just as Sharon has mentioned, my name is Jariatu Danita. I've worked in the healthcare industry for over 13 years. In leadership roles, senior roles, critical care, name it, I've done it all. Currently, I'm working as a UK-based content creator, fashion-based. I think that's pretty much where I am at the moment.
Yeah. How do you manage the two?
It's a struggle.
Maybe let's start there.
It's a struggle, but yeah. I'm extremely grateful that I've got a very supportive spouse. Okay. I won't be able to do it on my own. And obviously I've got my mom as well to help with the kids because I'm a mom and a wife. So I've got 2 kids. So it's a lot to balance, you know, the healthcare, work life and the content creating. But I still dibble and dabble into the healthcare industry. So it's a lot.
It's about having the right support systems in place.
Absolutely. It makes such a difference.
Yeah. So what's your, tell me more about your day-to-day. Do you shoot on weekends or so how do you balance the two in detail?
Well, what we used to do, my husband and I, because my husband is my photographer, so we tend to shoot during the weekend. Okay. So I'll get my mom to come over. She'll look after the kids, I'll prep, and we go out and shoot. So normally it takes about 2 hours, 2-3 hours to shoot, but I tend to prep from the night before because it's a lot of work. You got to do hair, makeup, everything. The whole shebang. So it's a lot, but it takes a community to be able to do anything, as I'm sure you already know. Yeah,
because what people see is the end product. Yes. They don't really get to see the behind the scenes of, what makes this great image and how everything comes to life.
And sometimes I feel like it's better for them not to see the behind the scenes because it's terrible. It's hectic. It's a lot. Because I remember when I initially started off with the content creating, I had a baby. I think my son was like few months old, my youngest. So there were times that he'll be in the car crying. We're shooting outside of the car. My husband and I were trying to get the right content, the right photo. And the baby will be crying. The tablets are on. So it's a lot. And it's not something I don't know if I want to show. It's very realistic. But I think we'll keep it in the background for now.
Some stuff
baby
like
steps.
best kept.
They can just see the content. That's it.
Yeah, but you still manage, right?
You have to.
We see, I'm a fan of yours. I follow your page and I see regular posts that you do. And then you've got the work going on behind the scenes. And I'm like, she's superwoman, you know?
You have to balance it. Women, we're doing it all these days. You have to. So it's just a balance.
Sure. Now, getting into, the reason why we invited you to today's show. Now, we all know it's not all rosy every day, right? There are moments where we feel like, we are breaking down, right?
Yes.
Would you agree?
Absolutely, every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's not all...
It's not social media, it's reality.
There's reality behind the brand.
Absolutely.
Right. So, focusing on challenges that you face, be it in the shooting, be it in the healthcare, is there a specific moment where you felt really challenged?
Absolutely. I think one of the most challenging moments I've experienced so far has to be with the healthcare side of things. Because I think just like I mentioned earlier before we started the interview, I decided to go into business with a few other people.
Yeah.
We wanted to start our own healthcare agency. Everything was working out perfectly. I thought I went into, the business with people that, had the same mindset as I did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. And I felt like I put in so much effort into it, got so much connect, I got a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
Due to the relationship I had with them prior. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. But you just have to pick yourself up and move on.
Yeah.
It's life, isn't it?
What do you think made it not work? What was the challenge that ultimately made it not to?
I think there were too many eyes instead of a team.
Okay.
There were too many eyes. It got to a point where everybody was thinking for themselves financially or thinking about how they could benefit financially instead of thinking what we can actually pour into the company to actually expand it and make it better.
But were there no specified roles within your team? Wasn't there? Were you all responsible for? There
were specified roles, but then the roles kind of got entwined.
Okay.
So my particular role was actually just delegating with the hospitals, getting contracts, and then so we had different roles, and then we had the rest of the team working in the office and keeping things moving, payroll, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
I think looking back now, going into such a business, you have to know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Because from my point of view, I thought it would be easier because I work from a nursing side of things.
Yeah.
So I know exactly how to get the nurses on board. I know how to approach, the leaders management-wise to get new contracts. But unfortunately, I didn't know the other side of the business, whereas the payroll system, the management side from what's the word I'm looking from? The management side from agency.
Yeah.
So that's where I went wrong. Looking back now, that was my challenge. Okay. So I knew from the floor end of things.
So you were on the clinical side of things.
I was, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And there was someone responsible for the management of things.
Absolutely, yes.
So do you perhaps feel maybe there could have been better ways of how you would have handled things? Was it a case of maybe people were overlapping on their roles?
I think definitely people overlapping, but speaking for myself personally, I feel like I should have been more involved instead of just, being so naive about the things. Because I felt like, how do I put this? I felt like I should have, been more involved in terms of the management side of things. Okay. So I was so focused in terms of the clinical side of things, getting the nurses in there, getting the nurses compliant, getting the contracts. And then I neglected the other side of things, the management.
The management side of things, someone was taking care of that.
Yes.
Why did you feel the need you had to
get involved?
To do both?
Well, it got to a point where
were there concerns that perhaps
absolutely too many concerns. That's why it didn't work out. It just went down the drain, Sharon. That's why I'm here. A lot of concerns.
Yeah.
Money started going missing, accounting, there was a lot of, changes to a point where they decided to take a loan without letting two of us know.
Yeah.
So myself and one of the other directors of the company. Yeah. So so it was 5 of us. It was 5 directors as a whole.
From my experience in healthcare, 5 is already a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But the way we went into it, 2 of us were from clinical side of things. So it was myself and my other colleague. She was a matron. So basically I was, band 7.
Yeah.
She was a band 8. Okay. So they wanted to get 2 clinical side.
Clinical experience.
Yeah. And it was a lot easier for us to get nurses on board. So we've got that trust from our side of things.
Yeah.
So they're coming in with their experience from the management side of things because they've worked with other agencies. So we just thought as a team we were going to be solid and it was going to work out.
Yeah.
So that was the way the dream was initially sold to me. So imagine somebody coming into you and just saying all that, we've got all this experience. And I just thought automatically it was just going to work out. Yeah. It didn't work out that way.
So now we are faced with all these challenges and you've obviously invested some money.
A lot of money.
A lot of resources have gone into even setting up and getting to a point where,
established.
Yeah. So what happens to that? And when did you finally decide as a team that, enough, or when did you finally decide that you needed to address what was going on?
I think it was when we got to the point where we realized loans were being taken out without our consent.
Yeah.
because obviously that's it's quite fraudulent looking, because the other directors, because we have to sign paperwork. So how are you going to take out a loan without our consent? And it was a substantial amount that was taken out. And then we also realized it was taken out in splits between the three of them without our consent, and we were not aware of this. So automatically we just decided that we didn't go into business with the right people. So it's a lot, Sharon.
So a lot of investment has gone in.
Yes.
A lot of resources, time has been put into making this vision come to life.
Yes.
You then find out all this. How did you move?
How did I
past
cope?
it? Yeah.
A whole lot of prayer.
That must have been a lot.
The Lord Jesus,
Yes.
the knees are sore from getting down and praying every day, because it was a shock to my system, as you can expect. Just like I mentioned earlier, I'm a mom of two, so it's not like I've got money just saved just to pour into businesses that I'm not going to get any returns. So it was a lot of crying, a lot of praying, but I'm extremely grateful. I keep mentioning my husband, because a lot of things won't happen without him. So he was the one that kept pouring into me that it's business. It's your first business that you've actually decided to just put your efforts, your time, and your finances into. Not everything's going to work out, but it's a learning curve.
But sometimes it's easy for me sitting here and thinking, did you do a background check on these people? Did you, how long had you known them for?
Right.
It's easy for me sitting here asking you all these things. But do you perhaps think there could have been things you would have done to maybe have...
Absolutely, a whole lot of things. And the first thing you just mentioned,
have done differently?
Background check.
Okay.
That's the first thing I would have done. Background. The thing is, just like I mentioned, I went into the whole business thing of it naively. So I was working as an agency nurse myself. I already had the connects. So one of the directors was actually working with the agency I was working for. So he just said, oh, they literally just brought me in. So they already had their team. So I was like the missing factor. I was one of the last ones they brought in. So I was like the fourth member. So when he brought me in, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. You understand? They already have that knowledge, because he was working, just like I mentioned, with an agency. And then they just need my expertise in terms of getting the nurses on board, speaking to them, which I can do, and then getting contracts with the hospitals, which I did. But I didn't actually do my...
So you overlooked...
I overlooked a whole lot.
Your due diligence on the people you were going in business with.
That's the right word.
And that's very important.
That's the biggest mistake.
And before you even think of contracts or anything, I'm sure you've learned some things, but still on that, I'm interested, and perhaps the audience is interested to know how you move past that. So there are loans that have been taken. How do you then address the repayment of those loans that you were supposedly not part of? And the investment that had already gone in. How do you move past? Because a lot of people, individuals or business people in healthcare face similar experiences, and perhaps someone is even looking at watching this today and thinking, hang on.
Sounds similar.
So how did you get past, the repayment of the loans? Did you eventually close the business down?
Well, the business... I was basically the one keeping the business alive.
Okay.
Because I was
still functioning now?
It's on its last leg, let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I was the one still actively working to keep it going.
Okay.
Because I was the only nurse working. So, and I knew if it get to the point where I stop working, the business is done. So I was trying my best to keep it alive for as long as I could.
Okay.
So this has been ongoing for about 3 years?
3 years.
Almost 4 years. It's a long time.
So sorry to cut you. I'm just trying to understand. So who then took the responsibility of the repayments?
Well, the individual that took the responsibility was the main one that started the whole business. So fortunately, he decided to take the whole, the responsibility
of repayment,
which I was extremely grateful for.
So that's not on you?
Not at all.
Okay. And then other resources that had been put in, I'm assuming all of you have somehow contributed to that.
What do you mean by resources?
As in the investment, the initial investment to start the company.
Oh, absolutely, Sharon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how did that turn out then? Oh.
Well, let's just put it this way. I've not received any returns.
Oh.
And I actually ended up spending more money than the initial.
And you must still be spending more money keeping the business running.
The fortunate thing, I don't have to spend any further money.
Okay.
Because the business is running. The initial guy that actually set the whole thing up, the initial director, he's taking the full responsibility of everything.
Okay.
But because I was the sole nurse working, so imagine we had quite a few nurses working.
Yeah.
So there was a breakdown in trust from the nurses because they were not getting paid on time.
Yeah.
Because we had
and
like
they won't put up with that.
I'm one of them, and I never used to put up with that, getting late pay, because I've done my shift. I expect my money. So that was the initial breakdown, and once that breakdown is there with the nurses, it's not going to go anywhere. Let's be honest, because we need them to work, and if they're not going to work, there's no money coming into the business.
Staff, yes.
So I was the main one getting it going. So it got to a point where we got in a bit of a issue with the what's their name again? The umbrella company.
Okay.
Because you know about umbrellas companies. So they were paying our nurses, but then because the initial chappie, the main director, was the one overseeing all this. So I don't really know exactly the story. This is why I said I went into it very naively, because these are things that I should have been looking at myself.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where one of my pay was actually held, and it was a large sum of money, held by the umbrella company, because apparently we owed them, the company owed them money.
Yeah, so you needed to
balance the books.
Yeah.
Because I was one of the directors and they had my pay, so I was affected. So that's a large amount of money, including my investment, that went down the drain as well. So it's been a very expensive learning process.
I tell you, sometimes we go into business maybe because we are too trusting. Because, you know, you're my friend, you're my sister. I don't really have to do any background check or any due diligence. I'm just so excited by the fact that I'm going to start this business and it's going to make me a lot of money without looking at, you know.
And doing your research.
Yes. And would you say that was the main point to which maybe if you were on reflection, how would you do things differently?
That's the main one. I think that was the foundation of the failure from my point of view. Because I thought I was going into business with people that I could trust and they had the same mindset as me.
Yeah.
And they were honest.
Yeah.
But they were not honest, because you can't take a loan as a collective without informing the rest of the directors. It doesn't work that way. So that was, for me, that was my main foundation of the failure from my perspective.
Yeah.
But
what would you do differently now?
Do my whole research and do it on my own. Absolutely do it. The thing is, that whole experience has literally left me very fearful of going into business with anyone. I know there's a lot of honest people out there, business savvy, business-minded people that think, as you know, if they're working with somebody, they think as a team.
Yeah.
But with my experience, it's left a very sore taste in my mouth, because I'm just thinking...
In terms of working in partnerships or the whole business, because you're still doing business now. So
I'm still doing business, but I'm doing it on my own.
Okay.
So I don't have the whole, you know...
So that particular experience, how has it shaped you today as a business?
Oh, very savvy, not very trusting.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And I do my research these days. I do extensive research, and it takes a lot for me to actually work with people. Yeah. It takes a lot for me to work with people, because my team at the moment, in terms of bringing this back to the social media thing, is my husband.
Okay.
So I take photos of my husband, he edits them, so it's literally just the two of us, because that's the main person I trust. Yeah. I mean, you can't see your wife fail. That means we're both going to fail together. There won't be any money in the house then. But yeah, so I think it's left a very, you know, it's left a lot of fear in me, but I'm not going to let it, you know.
Would you still go into healthcare?
Absolutely. I'm still in healthcare. I'm still in healthcare.
The business, healthcare, the business. Would you still?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Because the thing is, I feel like I've got so much connection, and it's easier for me to get in there. I mean, just like I mentioned, with my 13 years experience, I've worked everywhere, critical care, ICU, A&E, and I know a lot of people. So it's quite easy for me to actually get in there, which I thought would be the easier access coming in as a team. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. The thing is, if you would have asked me a few months ago, I would have told you no. Absolutely no, never. I'll just focus on my content creating and keep it moving.
Yeah.
But I think looking back today, this is actually good we're having this conversation because I can reflect on a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes things happen and you just bottle everything in. Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely see myself jumping back into that ship, but very wisely.
I like that.
Yeah, very wisely this time around.
Fast forward to now.
Yes.
You say you can still see yourself in the healthcare industry. Yeah. You've obviously reflected on things. You know how or what you will do differently now.
Yes.
You've not hung the boots up as yet.
Not yet.
You're still there.
Yes.
Just
one leg. Just one leg in.
Trust me, we all go through that at some point. But I think the most important thing is that even with the experiences, the bad experiences that, you know, we've gone through, right? We still can have that drive behind us to say, you know what, I'm not going to let this one situation define me or stop me from doing this thing because this is my calling or this is what I really want.
Yes.
And I think it's one of those things that if you speak to a lot of healthcare companies, the way they started, the stories are almost similar. You know, I think because I hear a lot of stories and very sad stories, but I think there's one common mistake that most healthcare startups make. Is they see the financial side of things, and then it makes them overlook a lot of the work and the more important things that need to be in place prior to starting, right?
Yeah.
So, but we learn. Right?
We learn.
Just like you have gone through this experience, you know, what would you say to someone who's gone through or going through a similar experience?
It's a tough one. Right. Hang in there. It will all work out. It will all work out. And don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up. It's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah.
And just pray about it. I mean, just like you mentioned, if it's something you're passionate about, you can't give up easily. Yeah. The thing is, I've been fortunate because I found my other passion, which is fashion. Yeah. So it's almost like that's helped me heal in a way because I can focus on this side of things now. And I don't worry so much about the healthcare side of things. I would love to have the balance to do both. But if that doesn't work out, I'll survive. I'll be okay.
That's it.
I'll be okay.
I think the most important thing is that you've you know, not given up. You kept it moving.
Yes.
And you've learned some lessons from it.
Yes.
And you had the right support system in place. You've had your husband support you and still support you to this day. And sometimes, you know, that's the most important thing, because at that point when you feel like giving up, if you're not having the right system in place, the support system in place, that could break you.
Absolutely.
And ultimately lead you to just, you know, saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I was almost at that point, and I have a good support system. So imagine, just like you said, someone that doesn't have the support system, because when you think of it, you've invested your savings into something that you potentially thought was going to work out and was going to be lucrative. And then everything just went down the drain. And then you lost even more money. Yeah. Because you were the one working for the company. So imagine not having a good support system to tell you it's going to be okay, and you're doing it by yourself. You'll break down.
Imagine not having the support system for when you feel like just
have an outlet. Just get, because I had my moments. Yeah. There were days that I wanted to just throw the chair, throw something, you know, just angry, like, why did I do this? And I think at one point I even said to my husband, why did you let me go into business with these people? You understand? You saw them on camera. Did you not look at them properly? Why did you let me go? It was like, but the thing is, they sold the dream very well. Yeah. They sold it very well, and that's another thing to look out for. Don't look out for dream sellers. There's so many of them out there.
A lot.
So many. Just do your research.
Is he still supportive of you doing it again?
Absolutely. He always told me, you would have been better off doing it on your own. Because looking back now, everything we were able to achieve, I would say 90% was because of me. I was the one on the clinical side, getting the contracts, speaking to management, getting the nurses, which is major role, because if you don't have the nurses working, you don't have a business.
The clinical side is equally important as the
management side. So it would have been such a good marriage.
Yeah.
Because if they had that management, I had the clinical. It would have been a different story today, Sharon.
Perfect marriage.
It would have been different. We would have been talking about something different.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes things don't work out. So
well, sometimes things turn out the way they do, but what's important is the lessons we learn out of those experiences and how we keep going.
Absolutely.
How we keep it moving.
Moving, yes.
Right. So the important thing is that you've learned lessons, right?
Very expensive ones.
Yeah.
I wish it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But the expensive lessons.
Yeah. But you're still here.
I'm still here. I'm still thriving. Still thriving, and I'm not letting it set me back.
Yes.
Because there's so much more to achieve.
Exactly.
So much more. Yeah.
So what do we have to look out for in terms of healthcare?
Oh yeah, definitely my own company.
Yeah.
Healthcare.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I don't know when that's going to be because I need to do my own research. I need to do my own research. Very important. That's going to be the starting phase, the foundation.
Yeah.
But I'm not ruling anything out at the moment. It's definitely on the board.
Yeah.
It's definitely on the board. But yeah.
Well, like I said, it's important that you've still got that drive in you.
Yeah.
And I say, if you're passionate enough about it, you can still do it.
Yes.
And with enough research and enough, due diligence and enough support behind you, you can still do it.
Make it work.
And we hope to hear about it soon, I hope.
Maybe in the next few months, in a year or so, yeah.
We'll keep in touch and find out, because a lot of people who've gone, I know a few people that have gone through your experience, similar to yours, and they've given up and they never found it again in them to say, you know what, I'm going to start again, I'm going to do it. Because sometimes people would have used everything they have to do this, and then they don't have that. That perhaps it's not even that they don't have the drive anymore. It's just that maybe there's no resources anymore.
The finances are gone. I was one of those people, Sharon, because I saved up and invested in this, and it wasn't a small amount of money. It's not money you can wake up and just find under the pillow. It's a substantial amount of money, as you're aware. Business like that takes a lot of money.
A lot.
So it was a blow to my system. It was a blow to my finances, for sure. But just like you said, you just have to find that, that balance and just keep it moving, because you can't dwell on the past. You can't dwell on what's been lost. You're not going to get it back, are you?
Yeah.
But just like you mentioned, a lot of people are still struggling with it. I mean, I do have my days where I think about the finances and the money that was lost, but what can we do?
You just keep going.
You just have to keep it moving.
Because you can't let that one moment define
you,
your destiny.
No, because then it sets you back. You can't move on because you're still in that process. You still cannot let that go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the future, you're still looking to perhaps, or you are looking into the healthcare still. And that's really amazing to hear. And we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And we look forward perhaps to you coming with another episode, maybe a few months down the line, where you've set up your,
my own company.
Yes.
That's the plan.
And yeah, we like to hear stories like this because they inspire other people. People that maybe are going through a very similar thing, and you never know, maybe you've given someone hope. You never know, you've given someone, inspiration to keep going.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that's gone through this. I'm sure you're aware. There's a lot of us.
I have my own fair shares of setbacks. But the key is to just keep it moving.
That's it.
Find that drive that you need from wherever it may come from. It may be from your support system. It may be from, I don't know, everybody has their reasons of why they need to keep going. But, we all have it in us to, keep going and keep it moving. Just find that one thing that you're passionate about. Even when times are really tough, I think you eventually find how to go
it strengthens you, don't it?
Yes.
Tough times.
Resilience.
Yeah, you realize how strong you are. Trust me, I knew when I was checking my bank balance and I was like, what is this? What happened here? Where did my money go?
Yes.
But we got through it.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We are here.
We are here.
And we have to go.
At least I got to sit here with you today because of my story, but we made it work. God is good.
Yes.
God is
good. We are not stopping, right?
Absolutely not. There's more money to be made out there. We cannot. We have to keep it moving.
Yes, we have to keep it moving.
Absolutely.
And, Thank you so much for today. That was such a story.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I hope someone got inspired. And we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon.
Very soon.
Yeah? Okay.
Thank you for
All
having
right.
me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching tonight's episode of Keep It Moving. I'm your host, Sharon O. Until next time.